In today's lesson, we're going to be reviewing complementary and supplementary angles, and we're going to be doing some more complex word problems than we've seen before. So we're going to be learning how to interpret those using the skills that we learned last week. So let's start with this first question. The supplement of an angle is 30 more than twice that angle. Find the measure of the angle and its supplement. Well, one good strategy for dealing with questions like these is just to start writing out all the information we have. I have that the supplement of an angle is twice that angle. Well, if I'm talking about two angles and they're supplementary, then I have some angle x and some angle y, and if I add them together, since they're supplementary, they will equal to 180 degrees. Now I have that one angle x plus some angle y is 180. They're supplementary. The next thing I have is that the supplement of that angle is 30 more than twice the angle. So my angle is x, its supplement is y. So the supplement y is equal to 30 more than twice that angle. So 30 more than 30 plus 2 times that angle. Y equals 30 plus 2x, because the supplement, y is my supplement, is equal to 30 more than twice the angle, 2 times x. At this point, I have two equations and two variables. I can solve those, but let's go over a little more explicitly how to go about solving them. To do that, I'm going to rewrite these two equations on a piece of paper where I have more room to work with. So I have x plus y equals 180. Then my second equation was y equals 30 plus 2x. Well, solving a system of equations is really easy when you have an equation that already starts out like this. I have that y is really just equal to 30 plus 2x. So if I go back to my first equation, if I replace y with what it's equal to, I can just take this 30 plus 2x, and since 30 plus 2x is y, 30 plus 2x is equal to y, I can just plug it in there. So instead of x plus y, I'll do x plus something that y is equivalent to. So let me write this out as x plus, well, instead of y, I'll do what y is equal to, 30 plus 2x, and that is all equal to 180. And at this point, now I'm just solving for a single variable. I'm just solving for x. So I'll combine like terms, x plus 30, those aren't like terms, but x and 2x are. X plus 2x gets me 3x's plus 30 equals 180. Now I gotta get x all by itself, so I'll take away 30 from both sides. 30 minus 30 gives me 0, so I can cancel those out. I have 3x equals 180 minus 30 is 150. So 3x is equal to 150. To get x all by itself, I'll divide by 3 on both sides. 3 divided by 3 gets me 1. 1 times x is just x, so I now am left with x equals 250. Now finally, I can take this, plug x equals 50 back into my original equation to find out what y is equal to. So if I do that, x is actually 50. I'll rewrite this equation over here. So I'll rewrite this equation over here as x plus y equals 180. Well, I know x is 50, so 50 plus y equals 180, and I'll just solve for y. So I'll take away 50 from both sides. Y is equal to 180 minus 50 is 130, and now I've found that my first angle is 50, my second angle is 130. Now let's go back to our original, and I'll write these down. So I just found that x is equal to 50, and y is equal to 130. X is equal to 50, y is equal to 130. And let's check. Well, these two angles should be supplements. 50 plus 130 gives me 180, so that's good. And then the next thing is that my angle, well, its supplement should be 2 times it and 30 more than that 2 times, right? 30 more than twice the angle. So if I have this angle and I multiply it by 2, right? 30 more than twice, so 50 times 2 is 100. 100 plus 30 is 130. So it checks out. And that way I can check that this is the correct answer. All right, next I'm going to set up number 2, and I'm going to do the substitution for you, and then you're going to take a moment to solve it yourself. So let's take a look at number 2. An angle is 1/3 its supplement. Find the measure of the angle and its complement. Well, let's start out by just looking at this first sentence here. I'm dealing with a supplement, and 1/3 is another important piece of information there. Well, if it's a supplement, I'm going to be doing, again, 2 angles, and those 2 angles are supplementary, so they add up to 180. The next thing that I have is that the angle is equal to 1/3 its supplements. So this is my angle, x is my angle, and it's equal to 1/3, 1 divided by 3, times its supplement. Again, I have 2 equations set up, and I need to use some algebra to figure out what x and y are going to equal, and then I'll do the rest of this question. So I'll set up the system of equations, I'll do the substitution, and then you'll have to figure out what x and y are from that. So I'm going to move on to another sheet of paper so we have a little more room to work here. Let's move this paper up here. My 2 equations were x plus y equals 180 because they are supplementary. And then the question said an angle is 1/3 supplement, so x is equal to 1/3 times y. Well, I want to get it so that these are all by themselves each. So I'm going to try and get y again alone. So I have 1/3 times y, that's 1 divided by 3. Well, to get rid of that, I can multiply this whole side by 3. But if I multiply this side by 3, I have to multiply this side by 3. Okay, now 1/3 times 3, let's just plug that into our calculator. This is y I multiplied by 3. If I do 1/3, 1 divided by 3 is the same thing as 1/3, times 3, that's equal to 1. And that's why I multiplied by 3, because if I do 1/3 times 3, which is 1, I then just get 1y, and 1 times y is the same thing as y. And I'm left with y is equal to 3x. I can now substitute back into the other equation, because since y is actually 3x, I can just say, all right, instead of y, I only want to have one variable here, I'll do 3x. And I now have x plus 3x is equal to 180. Then I can start combining like terms. 4x equals 180. I'll divide by 4 on both sides to get rid of that 4, because 4 divided by 4 gets me 1, so it'll be 1x. 1 times x is just x. 180 divided by 4 is equal to, let's check, I'm pretty sure it's 45. 180 divided by 4 is 45. So 180 divided by 4, x is equal to 45. All right, well, let's keep going here. Now that I have x is equal to 45, I can plug this back into my equation to figure out what its supplement was. Well, 45 plus y equals 180. Y is equal to, I have to take away 45 from both sides to get y by itself. Cancel that out. 180 minus 45 is 135. All right, now we need to bring these values back to our original question to figure out what that question is asking and to figure out how we need to answer it. So I have x is equal to 45, y is equal to 135. X is equal to 45, y is equal to 135. Now I need to find the measure of the angle and its complement. Well, the angle was 45 because the angle is 1/3 its supplement. So this is the angle we're talking about. Y is its supplement. And the angle is 1/3 its supplement. So let's double check to make sure that we actually got it right. 135 divided by 3 is 45. So 1/3 of 135 is 45. We got that right. And I need to find the angle and its complement. Well, the complement means it's 2 that add up to 90. 45 plus what equals 90? Well, the complement of 45 is just going to be 45 degrees. So the angle is 45 degrees and its complement is 45 degrees.